Welcome to the Balancing Process Facilitator trainings. This is going to be the biggest chapter by far. So this is like signature process. There's so many elements to this. So there's going to be a lot of facilitator trainings literally for every single step. And this is going to be awesome. So take notes, pay attention, and let's rock and roll. So you would have seen a version of these in the version that you've gone through yourself, doing your own processes. Make sure you do your processes continually as well. But I'm going to read through these ones I've got here and the reason behind each of them, okay? So step number 1, leave people better than when you found them. That is like the number 1 rule when it comes to any form of coaching, okay? So do not overstep boundaries. Do not go deeper. So this leads into step 2. Do not go faster or deeper than what a client is ready for. You have a duty of care to look after a client and respect what they are ready to address. Some people have like their spiritual ego where they want to do the deepest, darkest, insane transformations ever because they're the best coach on the planet. Do not do that. You can literally fuck people up mentally, emotionally, nervous system. I'm yet to have any of that happen with my work because I'm very clear on what I start with, where I take people to. You'll notice with step 3, we don't start with any big T traumas for that exact reason. And you also want to get yourself some insurances as well, because obviously anything can happen. There's going to be people and circumstances that happen for every single coach on the planet. If they're in business for long enough, they help enough people, things will happen. So definitely have your insurance, which is what we do right at the end for the business requirements. But again, from a intention aspect from you, make sure you are taking clients to the depth they're ready for. Don't stroke the ego and be like, I'm just going to take people further because I'm the best and I'm whatever. Just please remove all that bullshit from your psychology if it's there. Number 3, do not start with any big T traumas. So it's a bit vague how some people categorize them, but here are the most common ones I've seen: rape, murder, suicide, molestation, death, abortion, abuse, addiction, and incest. Can you technically start with them? You could. I never have with any client to this date. I don't, because of what we just said in the first 2 steps. One of my first mentors in NLP actually taught me, or said this line that's stuck with me: don't blow up the toaster. Do not go from 0 to 100 if someone's nervous system is not ready for it, including you. I remember like when I first started coaching people in this aspect, mentally, emotionally, and I think I'd done NLP at that point. I hadn't done like DeMartini and perceptions and nervous system and polyvagal and breath and all these things. And I had this client that came in and trigger warning for about what I'm about to say. He just followed me on Instagram, came on down for a consult. I did them in person at this point at the gyms. I was still in the gyms at this point. And he came in and he just started talking to me. You could see he was not okay, like super dysregulated, super stressed, like huge bags under his eyes. And he opened up to me, which was beautiful. And he told me like horrific things. Like his dad used to bring his mates over to the house to have sex with him as a child. And it was like, that was just the start of all these other things. And I was like, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being open with me. And you have so much courage. You have so much strength. I just gave him all this love and recognition and validation. And I just let him know, hey, this is too much for me. To be honest, this is a little bit outside my scope for where I'm at with my journey. What I'd love to do so I can still serve you is actually just refer you to someone else. And I referred him to my mentor back then because, again, I knew my boundaries. I knew my scope of work for what I was ready to handle. So again, be integral with the work that you do, okay? Beautiful. So don't start with these ones. What I recommend doing is at least 3 to 6 balancing processes. Also remember, before you do the big T ones, remember this: you can chunk down bundled and clustered traits into easier traits. Rape is a great example. It can be broken down into 10 plus different traits because it's not just sex, is it? Because if that's the case, every single time you have sex, it would be traumatizing, but that's not the case. So rape could be broken into control, power, force, dominance, suppression, neglect, coercion, manipulation, disconnection, constraint, abuse, etc. So you want to chunk things down if you need to. I like to think of a big pie chart of a big T trauma. That's what the pie chart is. And you just want to piece out, piece by piece, each of those traits within the big T trauma. That's what I think is a better, holistic, safe, duty of care way to look after clients. Number 3, I like to start with parents. Parents is where their core wounds are. So that's where there's generally, I have never met a single client who doesn't have some stuff with their parents. So it's a really nice way to start with, especially for step 2 when you get up to it. So step 2 is, what did this person go through for them to display the trait? generally speaking, people know more about their parents and partners than some random that they've never met before who abuse them once off. So it's generally easier. Now, you'll know when you get to that, when you get up to the tips for each step, you can actually skip over this step. But we'll get to that later. I probably shouldn't have said that now, but we'll get to that very, very soon, okay? So I start with a parent, then I do the other parent, then I do a partner or an ex-partner, then whoever you want. So the first 3 processes in a perfect world would be parent number 1 that they dislike most, then they do the other parent, then they do a partner or an ex-partner if they're single. If you're doing an ex-partner, I suggest doing the ex-partner they have the most amount of resistance towards. I say the most amount of fuck yous towards, or the most amount of negative emotions towards. That's who I generally start with. Now, have I done this every single time? No, I have not. Sometimes someone comes to me for a very specific reason to work on this very specific problem of this thing, and I will go there, and that's okay. In a perfect world, I would do it this way, but again, it's not always the case. So in a perfect world, start with this. If not, I have yet to this day started with a big T trauma. I have yet to do that, and I probably won't ever do that. I can't see a reason why I would. I really can't. If someone came to me who's that dysregulated and that traumatized and triggered and just wants to go to the biggest one ever, it's so unsafe to do that for so many people. I'm sure there is a case out there where someone could do that, but I personally haven't had it yet, and I've been doing this for a fair few years now, and I just don't see any situation where I would. But please don't do it. That is my request. So from there, number 4 is railroad them into the work. Remove their distractions, put their phone away, and focus on the process. Ego wants to avoid pain and wants to reinforce itself. So this process can be challenging. You want to get distracted. You want to check notifications. I run this at my in-person event. A lot of people, so we take everyone's phones away from them when we start the process. And you'll still see people like looking away, looking around, going to the toilet. Like they're trying to avoid it. So hold them accountable. That's the benefit of having a coach, to be honest. Because a coach, you are going to hold them accountable to answering the questions and staying focused and answering each step. Be as specific as possible. If they're not getting it, they're not being specific enough. So when you're asking, what are the benefits? Where have you done this? Tell me exactly where you were. Especially for the prep question, the mirror moment, this is where you're probably the most specific. And honestly, again, there's a whole training on the prep questions. The more precise you are with this process, the stronger your intuition is, the easier this entire process becomes. So be more specific. Hold them accountable to what they say. Do not let them just tick a box. Their ego will try to avoid fully getting it. Hold them accountable. Make sure they do the process correctly. Literally, you'll have clients who are like, oh, yeah, I got it. I remember we had one client at our in-person event, and I can't remember the step that it was on, but like they said, like they put your hand up once you're done, and we'd walk over to them to see if they've done it, and I'd hold up their sheet, and I'll look at them, and I asked them one of the clarifying questions, and you could just tell she was bullshitting. It was just like in her eyes, oh yeah, I got it. It's like, it wasn't in her heart. I knew she was bullshitting. So as a great coach, I said, nah, keep going, find some more. So be okay doing that. Be okay challenging your client. They're paying you to do that, and it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. You want them to hit the wall. So the wall is the edge of their conscious mind. That's where you start to expand their awareness or consciousness. I personally, and this depends on time, by the way, because timing is a part of this. If you've got 30 minutes, you're not even going to get probably through halfway. You're probably going to get to step 3, maybe step 4. So would I get them to hit the wall 3+ times? Probably not, at least maybe once or twice. The most important part, as you'll see when you get up to it, is can they answer the clarifying questions? The clarifying questions are the most important part for them to be able to move on, as long as they're getting it genuinely, authentically, they're not bullshitting you. So get them to hit the wall. You want them to hit the wall. That's the point. It's like going to the gym and trying to avoid feeling discomfort. You're not going to grow. You're meant to hit that. The point is to get uncomfortable. The point is to hit the wall. That's the point. Key phrase that I use a lot is great. What else? Or yes. What else? Yes. Abandonment. What else? Yes. Strength. What else? What else? What else? What else? Great. Validation. Great. Strength. Great. If you're doing the benefits part, step 4. Great. You got love. Great. What else did you get? You got importance. Great. What else did you get? Awesome. What else? 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 Get them thinking, get them looking, get them expanding their awareness. Let their intuition do the work. Get them back into the present moment. Take a big deep breath into your heart, feel your heart, trust your heart, get present. So that's one statement I will use. So if you notice them, scrunching their head up and they're like this. They're intellectualizing it. They're not in their heart. Their intuition is not doing the work. Your intuition is most powerful when you're present. Again, when you do the prep training, I'll go really hard on this part, is your intuition is most potent when you're present in the moment. So, for example, if you're getting them to find the gifts in step 4, go to the moment. Where were you? Great. When was it? Great. What happened the moment this person did this trait? Awesome. Are you there? Are you present? Breathe. Get present. Are you there? Awesome. What did you gain in that moment? You want to get them really, really, really present, and it comes through. The amount of times, it's so awesome being in, to demonstrate this live, is I can't find any more. I can't see any more. There aren't any there. That's the wall. That's what the wall can sound like. And then I'll get the person. It's awesome when I do it in the school community. I'll say, because everyone can see me do it, I'll say, all right, cool, close your eyes. Go to the moment. Where are you? When was it? What did this person do the moment you labeled them as the trait? Awesome. Are you there? You're present. Awesome. Take a big breath in. Trust your heart. Let your heart answer it. Take a breath. Feel it. In that moment, what did you gain? In that moment, what did you summon within yourself to get through that moment? Strength, courage, abundance. Like, you just have all these things come through. They're like, oh my God, I didn't see that until I looked. Until you let your intuition do the work. Let their intuition do the work. It will be so much easier the more present you get people. Again, get present. Where are you? When was it? What did this person do? Are you there? Great. What did you gain in that exact moment? Let your heart answer the question, okay? Almost there. Number 10, do not answer your client's questions for them. A great coach doesn't tell you the answers. They tell you where to look. You can give suggestions, but they have to own it themselves. So ideally, you just say, what else? 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 Keep looking. Keep looking. What else is there? Have you looked here? Keep looking there. Keep looking. What else is there? Get present. Take a breath in. What else? What else? Do that as many times as you can. If they're really struggling, sometimes I will throw out some answers. Keep looking. Courage, strength, abundance, recognition, love, importance. I'll just throw them out there. If they take it on, oh, yeah, importance. Check in. I tell them anyways. I say, do not, if I say any words, you are welcome to use them if they're true, but if you're bullshitting, you're wasting this time with this process. So if you throw an answer out into the ether and they say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Say, in that moment, did you get that? They drop in and they're like, yes, I did. And it's authentic, it's real, and you can feel that, boom, put it on the list. So you can throw them out there, but do not let them take it unless it's real. Again, otherwise you're just taking their power away. You're not letting them grow. You want them to find it, okay? So throw them out there, but only let them write it down if it's true. Almost there. Be conscious of any physical shifts and cues with your client, their breath, their eyes, their tone of voice. That's where those micro shifts are. Where, oh my God, I really get it. And again, back to that question here about them making sure they're not bullshitting the process. Anyways, what I said before, it's like when clients are bullshitting the process, you can intuitively, consciously, with awareness and presence, tell. So you can know if they're bullshitting it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had clients where it's like, they're just bullshitting, they're just bullshitting, they're just bullshitting. I say, look, you can fight for this limitation. And if you do, you get to keep it. I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you break through this thing that's triggered you and held you back for years, if not decades. Do you want to hold on to this, or do you want to work through this? Like, you can challenge them. It's okay to challenge them. The more rapport you have with someone, the more challenging you can give them and the more support you can give them. So, as I mentioned, just be conscious of, okay, oh, their shoulders drop. They took a big breath in. Oh, they relaxed their shoulders. Their eyes open. They had some tears come down their face. These are obviously good signs to look out for to make sure they're getting it. And last one, stay present with your client. Regulate yourself and co-regulate with them when needed. The more rapport you have with your client, the more powerful this process will be. Okay? I hope that helped. Read over this as many times as you need to. You'll learn your own ones as well that really work for you when you're doing your processes as well. Again, practice. Go through this as many times as you can. Do your own processes. Obviously, once you've done all the trainings, you will then do your processes on clients and practice the tool and the modality. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next training. See you soon.